This upcoming game might be the end of Genshin Impact, or at the very least, give Genshin Impact a run for their money. So this is an upcoming game by Kuro Games called Wuthering Waves. What is Wuthering Waves? Wuthering Waves is an open world action RPG game with anime art style similar to Genshin Impact with a gacha system developed and published by Kuro Games, the developers behind Punishing Grey Raven. Wuthering Waves is set in a post-apocalyptic world with less vibrant and monotone color palette that is pretty easy on the eyes, unlike Genshin's highly saturated, vibrant fantasy-like setting that is very good in itself, don't get me wrong, but Wuthering Waves is a refreshing experience from all that. Wuthering Waves is a more combat-oriented game with fast-paced movements and dodging mechanics and uses QTEs or quick time event skills that they call intro and outro skills in game, and each characters have their own different intro and outro skills on top of their normal skill and ultimate. And I really enjoy games with fast paced movements, like for example Warframe has a pretty unique movement and parkour mechanic that is very fun and rewarding once you master it. And did I mention you can catch Pokemons? There is an ecosystem that is similar to the artifact system in Genshin Impact, where you can equip 5 different echoes that have various different stats and set bonuses, and you can also transform into the echo that you equip in the primary slot. And now you might ask how to get echoes. Well, echo farming is entirely different from Genshin's artifact farming. You get echoes by defeating them in the overworld and catching them. And you can even catch bosses, although they have a very low chance of being captured. So from all of this you can see the combat system of Wuthering Waves is very complex, but that just makes the game more interesting. Similarities between Genshin Impact and Wuthering Waves. Well, both Wuthering Waves and Genshin Impact are games in the same genre, so both games will have some identical features with their own unique twist. One of the most noticeable similarities is the character enhancement. You have to ascend characters to increase their levels further, similar to Genshin, but this is very common in most games, and character skills and skill trees are pretty identical as well. Another thing that is very common in most games are the weapon types and weapon passives. Wuthering Waves has 5 types of weapons: swords, broad blades, pistols, gauntlets, and rectifiers, and each weapon has its own stats and its unique passive. Wuthering Waves also uses different elements that are called attributes, and at the moment Wuthering Waves has 6 playable attributes. Spectro, that is like the light element or the imaginary element from Honkai Star Rail. Havoc, that is similar to Dark or the quantum element from Honkai Star Rail. Fusion, that is fire or pyro. Aero for the wind element or animo. Electro, that is, well, electro or lightning. And lastly, Glacio for ice or cryo. But Wuthering Wave does not have any elemental reactions. Instead, they have the intro and outro skills that, if triggered in combination with specific elements, will result in certain buffs, although I'm not entirely sure how it works as I have not played the closed beta myself, and many more small features such as gliding and their version of the spiral abyss that is called the Tower of Fantasy, the Tower of Adversity. So I am very excited for Wuthering Waves and the game looks promising, but many people are criticizing the game and calling Wuthering Waves a Genshin clone. Well, to a certain extent it is, but the same goes for Genshin too. It is a Breath of the Wild clone. So who cares? At the end, if the game is good and you enjoy playing it, then it doesn't matter if it's a clone or not. Every new game that comes out nowadays has taken inspiration from some other games, and that's not a bad thing if done correctly. And I will cover Wuthering Waves once it officially releases, and as for when it will release, I have no idea, but probably later this year if everything goes right. And yeah, Kuro Games have a record of giving out free 5 stars, so we might get 1 or 2 free 5 stars once Wuthering Waves launches officially, something that Genshin could never. But you don't have to be like Hoyo, so go and check out this video that gives you all the info about version 4.5 of Genshin Impact. See ya next time.